Good morning, everyone. It is such a privilege for me to present here at the PX4 Developer Summit. My name is Anthony Erasmus. I'm from South Africa, and I was introduced to PX4 while I was doing my master's at Stellenbosch University. During this time, I was working on developing a control system for a multicopter carrying an unknown swinging payload. This is where I gained an understanding of the multicopter control architecture implemented in PX4, and that is what I will discuss and explore in this presentation. The structure of this talk is as follows. For each controller, I will present the architecture and provide a diagram of the controller explaining each component. Thereafter, I will point out which parameters are of interest to that controller and what the relevance of each parameter is. This will allow a user to tweak these parameters while having a grasp of how it affects the controller. For those of you that want to extend or modify the controllers, I will also point out where the controller was implemented in the code so that you can take a look at that. The scope of this talk is focused on the controllers specifically. If you are interested in a wider scope of the multicopter control in PX4, I suggest taking a look at another talk that will be done here at the Developer Summit by Matthias and Matthew, an overview of multicopter control from sensors to motors. This is an overview of the complete control architecture. From the left, we have the position controller, the velocity controller, a conversion block, the angle controller, the angular rate controller, and lastly, the mixer which outputs commands to the different motors. This architecture is known as a cascaded control architecture. In cascaded control, you have an inner controller and an outer controller. The outer controller receives a set point and generates a command which serves as a set point for the inner controller. The inner controller then produces an actuator command. So as you can see in this case, our innermost controller is the angular rate controller. It actually commands virtual actuators equivalent to an aileron, elevator, and rudder. The mixer receives these commands along with a thrust and mixes these values to produce an actual motor command to send to the motors. Outside of the angular rate controller, we have the angle controller, which receives an angle set point and commands an angular rate, which is handled by the rate controller. Outside of the angle controller, we have the velocity controller. The velocity controller receives a velocity set point and commands an acceleration. This acceleration, along with the desired yaw angle, is first converted to an attitude to send to the angle controller and a thrust to send to the mixer. Our outermost controller is a position controller, which receives a position set point and commands a velocity. All of these controllers are PID controllers. In this talk, I'm going to assume that you know what PID control is. If you don't, there are a lot of resources out there that explains the principles of PID control very well. Notice here that the velocity and angular rate controllers have all of the PI and D gains, whereas the position and angle controllers are only proportional controllers. All of these controllers also has a feed-forward component, which is not represented in this diagram. This results in better tracking. For instance, if you want to fly to a specific position at a specific speed, let's say 5 meters per second, then you can add this speed to the velocity set point produced by the position controller. Every one of these controllers is a control loop running at a specific rate. The angular rate controller runs at 1 kHz if the hardware supports it. The angle controller runs at 250 Hz, and both the position and velocity controllers run at 50 Hz. I would like to point out that the purpose of this session is to provide an overview of the general multicopter control system architecture, and therefore I will not go into detail on how things like saturation and specific conversions are done. In the rest of this presentation, I will take a closer look at each of these controllers. I will start at the innermost angular rate controller and work my way out from there to the position controller. This is the structure of the angular rate PID controller. As you can see, from the left, it receives a set point and an angular velocity measurement. These values are subtracted to produce an error, which gets propagated through the PID controller to produce a command. This command is first saturated. The limits are -1 and 1 because PX4 deals with normalized values. And finally, the virtual actuator command is obtained, which is the aileron, elevator, and rudder command. You will notice that there are actually 4 gains. That is the P, I, D, and K gains. This is because there are 2 different implementations of PID control. the standard form and the parallel form. In the standard form, the P gain in this diagram will be set to 1 and the K gain is then known as a proportional term. In the parallel form, the K gain in this diagram is set to 1 and the P gain is then known as a proportional term. You can choose whichever form you are comfortable with by setting the appropriate gain to 1. So that was a proportional term. Let's take a look at the integral term. The integral term has limits to avoid integral windup and also to limit the control authority of the integrator. You will also notice that the derivative term is actually computed from the measurement and not the error. This is to eliminate a phenomenon known as derivative kick. You can go look this up and its effects if you have not heard of it before. On the derivative path is a low-pass filter. This is to filter the noisy measurements, because if noise is differentiated, it gets amplified, which can lead to all sorts of bad things. So a low-pass filter is applied to avoid this. So as you can see, the standard PID structure is implemented here along with a couple of additions for safety in practical systems. Here are the different parameters you can tweak for the angular rate controller. The K, P, I, and D terms are denoted by the parameters MC roll rate K, P, I, and D. The same parameters exist for both pitch and yaw. The MC RR int lim parameter is the limit of the integral term. The RR can be replaced by PR or YR for pitch rate or yaw rate. The parameter to adjust the cutoff frequency of the filter on the derivative path is IMU D gyro cutoff. I would also like to point out another filter adjusted by the IMU gyro cutoff parameter. This filters the angular velocity measurements before it is received by the angular rate controller. The values being filtered on the derivative path have actually already been filtered by the IMU gyro cutoff filter. Therefore, if the IMU gyro cutoff filter is sufficiently low, the derivative filter might not be needed. On the other side, if you are having problems with the noise on the derivative path, you can lower the derivative filter cutoff frequency without lowering the IMU gyro cutoff frequency. These are the most important parameters to be aware of when tweaking the angular rate controller. The control law is implemented in the MC rate control module. In the ratecontrol.cpp file, you will find an update function like the one shown here. The control law is implemented in this function, and if you are interested to extend or to modify the controller, this would be the place to start. Moving on to the angle controller, PX4 makes use of the quaternion attitude representation. The reason for making use of quaternions and not something that is easily interpreted, such as Euler angles, is because of the singularity that exists at the 90-degree pitch angle of the 3-to-1 Euler representation when estimating the Euler angles from the IMU measurements. The structure of the controller is a proportional controller, but it does have some nonlinear components as well. This control law is based on the paper Nonlinear Quadrocopter Attitude Control. I will not go into much detail because the other talk on multicopter control at this Dev Summit that I mentioned at the beginning will give some insight into this. I would just like to draw your attention to the P gain on the right hand side of the diagram. When tweaking the controllers, this is the value you are interested in. It produces an angular rate set point, but it also gets saturated first before sending it on to the angular rate controller. The parameters of interest are the MC roll P parameter for the proportional gain and the MC roll rate max parameter to limit the allowed roll rate of the vehicle. These parameters also naturally exist for pitch and yaw as well. When flying in acro mode, you can set the MC acro max parameters to limit the maximum commanded rates. The angle controller actually prioritizes pitch and roll above yaw control. This is because pitch and roll control is critical to keep the vehicle in the air, but not so much yaw. So the MC yaw weight can be used to set the level of prioritization. Looking at the code, the angle controller is implemented in the MC at control module. In the attitude control.cpp file, the set attitude setpoint function is used to set the commanded angle. This function is important because it allows you to set the setpoint at a different rate than the controller is running. Remember, the velocity controller is running at 50 Hz and the angle controller at 250 Hz. That is why this function is needed. The control law is implemented in the update function. And this wraps up the angle controller. Outside of the angle controller is the velocity controller. However, it commands an acceleration command, which is first converted to an attitude. I won't go into detail on this conversion because it is being handled in the other talk on multicopter control in the Dev Summit. I will mention the path, however, and the functions that does this conversion. The acceleration setpoint is first actually converted to a thrust. This is done in the acceleration control function. The thrust is then converted to an attitude, which can be obtained by the getAttitudeSetPoint function. This function calls the thrust to attitude function, which in turn calls the body z to attitude function that contains the code for the conversion from thrust to attitude. This leads us to the velocity controller, which is implemented as a simple PID controller. The derivative path is taken from the measurement again instead of the error, and it contains a low-pass filter for all the same reasons as the angular rate controller did. The commanded acceleration is also being saturated. I want to point out that this is not representative of the actual code and it is not directly the acceleration that is being limited, but rather the thrust and tilt angle. But I chose to keep the saturation block so that you can be aware of it. The velocity controller actually prioritizes the vertical velocity above the horizontal velocity because it is critical to keep the vehicle in the air. The velocity controller also makes use of a tracking anti-wind-up mechanism. This mechanism is based on a paper, and if you're interested, it is referred to in the code if you want to take a look. These are the parameters of interest to the velocity controller. There you have the Pi and D gains for the horizontal and vertical velocity respectively on the left and right hand side. The MPC val_d_lp parameter is used to tweak the filter on the derivative path, and the MPC tilt max air and MPC throttle max parameters are used to limit the tilt angles and the thrust of the vehicle. Both the position and velocity controllers are implemented in the MC POS control module, and the function containing the velocity control law specifically is this velocity control function. The position controller is a simple proportional controller that limits the commanded velocity setpoints as shown in this diagram. Here are the parameters for the position controller. You have a proportional gains and the limits for the horizontal and vertical directions respectively. The control law is specifically implemented in the position control function, but both the position and velocity controllers are run by calling this update function. And as with the angle controller, the set points can be set regardless of the loop frequency by the set input setpoint function. And those are all the controllers. Here is a diagram to briefly summarize the controllers that I presented in this session. If you would like more information regarding the controllers, I suggest that you check out the user and developer guides. The user guide has a section on PID tuning, which is quite helpful, and the developer guide's parameter reference section can be used to find out what a specific parameter is for and how to adjust it. I will be adding the diagrams in this session to the developer guide soon, so expect an update on that. And as I mentioned, there is another talk on multicopter control in the Dev Summit with a bit of a wider scope. I hope you enjoyed this one and that it helps you to gain some insight into the multicopter controllers. Thank you.